The appointed festivals. The Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the Israelites and say to them, These are my appointed festivals, the appointed festivals of the Lord, which you are to proclaim as sacred assemblies. The Sabbath. There are 6 days when you may work, but on the seventh day, a day of Sabbath rest. The day of sacred assembly. You are not to do any work. You are to live. It is a Sabbath to the Lord. The Passover and the festival of unleavened bread. These are the Lord's appointed festivals, the sacred assemblies you are to proclaim as their appointed times. The Lord's Passover begins at twilight on the 14th day of the first month. On the 15th day of that month, the Lord's festival of unleavened bread begins. For 7 days you must eat bread made without yeast. On the first day, hold a sacred assembly and do no regular work. For 7 days present a food offering to the Lord. And on the seventh day hold a sacrifice assembly and do no regular work. Offering the first fruits. The Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the Israelites and say to them, when you enter the land I am going to give you, and you reap its harvest, bring to the priest a sheaf of the first grain you harvest. He is to wave the sheaf before the Lord, so it will be accepted on your behalf. The priest is to wave it on the day after the Sabbath, together with its grain offering of 2/10 of an ephah, the finest flour mixed with olive oil, a food offering presented to the Lord, a pleasing aroma, and its drink offering of 1/4 of a hin of wine. You must not eat any bread or roasted or new grain until the very day you bring this offering to your God. This is to be a lasting ordinance for generations to come, wherever you live." The Festival of Weeks. From the day after the Sabbath, the day you brought the sheaf of the wave offering, count off 7 full weeks. Count off 50 days up, and to the day after the Sabbath, the 7th Sabbath. And then present an offering of new grain to the Lord. From wherever you live, bring 2 loaves made of 2/10 of an ephah of the finest flour, baked with yeast, as a wave offering of first fruits to the Lord. Present with this bread 7 male lambs, each a year old and without defect, 1 young bull and 2 rams. They will be a burnt offering to the Lord, together with the grain offerings and drink offerings, a food offering, and an aroma pleasing to the Lord. Then sacrifice 1 male goat for a sin offering and 2 lambs, each a year old, for a fellowship offering. The priest is to wave the 2 lambs before the Lord as a wave offering, together with the bread of the first fruits. They are a sacrifice offering to the Lord for the priest. On the same day you are to proclaim the sacred assembly and do no regular work. This is to be a lasting ordinance for generations to come. Wherever you live, when you reap the harvest of your land, do not reap to the very edges of your field or gather the gleanings of your harvest. Leave them for the poor and for the foreigner residing among you. I am the Lord your God. So this is quoting back to earlier in the Bible, I think over in, what was it? Was it Moses? I don't remember. But I think it was quoting back. When it was quoting back earlier in the Bible when it was quoting what this means. When you reap the harvest of your land, do not reap the very edges of your field or gather the gleanings of your harvest. Leave them for the poor and for the foreigner residing among you. I am the Lord your God. So what he is saying is leave it for the poor and for the foreigner that resides. So even people that are not even from this country, you are supposed to leave it for. You got to understand, God loves all people. Just because the person is not supposed to be in your land, quote, to your laws, doesn't mean they're not supposed to be on the land at all, according to God. So if a foreigner is on your land and needs help or something, help him. It doesn't matter if they're a spy, this or that. If they actually see the real truth of Jesus' love and stuff, they might even stop being a spy. And whatever your thought process is about it. Anyway. The Festival of Trumpets. The Lord said to Moses, say to the Israelites, on the first day of the 7th month you are to have a day of Sabbath rest, a sacred assembly commemorated with trumpet blasts. Do no regular work, but present a food offering to the Lord, a day of atonement. The Lord said to Moses, a 10th of this 7th month is the day of atonement. Hold a sacred assembly and deny yourselves, and present a food offering to the Lord. Do not do any work on that day, because it is the day of atonement, when atonement is made for you before the Lord your God. Those who do not deny themselves on that day must be cut off from their people. I will destroy from among their people anyone who does any work on that day. You shall do no work at all. This is to be a lasting ordinance for the generations to come. Wherever you live, it is a day of a Sabbath rest for you. You must deny yourselves, and you must deny yourselves from the evening of the 9th day of the 9th month. The following evening you are supposed to observe your Sabbath. The Festival of Tabernacles. The Lord said to Moses, say to the Israelites, on the 15th day of the 17th month, the Lord's Festival of Tabernacle begins, and it lasts for 7 days. The first day is a sacred assembly. Do no regular work. For 7 days present food offerings to the Lord, and on this 8th day hold a sacrifice assembly and present a food offering to the Lord. It is a closing special assembly. Do no regular work. These are the Lord's appointed festivals, which you are to proclaim as sacred assemblies, for bringing food offerings to the Lord, the burnt offerings and the grain offerings, sacrifices and drink offerings required for each day. These offerings are in addition to those for the Lord's Sabbaths, and in addition to your gifts and whatever you have vowed, and all the free will offerings you give to the Lord. So beginning with the 15th day on the 7th month, you have gathered the crops of the land to celebrate the festival to the Lord for 7 days. The first day is a day of Sabbath rest. The 8th day also is a day of Sabbath rest. On the first day you are to take branches from the luxuriant trees, from palms, willows, and other leafy trees, and rejoice before the Lord your God for 7 days. Celebrate this as a festival to the Lord 7 days each year. This is to be a lasting ordinance for those generations to come. Celebrate it in the 7th month. Live in temporary shelters for 7 days. All native-born Israelites are to live in such shelters, so your descendants will know that I had the Israelites live in temporary shelters when I brought them out of Egypt. I am the Lord your God. So Moses announced to the Israelites the appointed festivals of the Lord, olive oil and bread set before the Lord. The Lord said to Moses, command the Israelites to bring you clear oil of pressed olives for the light, so that the lamps may be kept burning continually outside the curtain that shields the ark of the covenant law and the tent of meeting. Aaron is to tend the lamps before the Lord from evening till morning continually. This is to be a lasting ordinance for the generations to come. The lamps on the pure gold lampstand before the Lord must be tended continually. Take the finest flour, bake 12 loaves of bread using 2/10 of an ephah for each loaf. Arrange them into sacks, 6 at each stack, on the table of pure gold before the Lord. By each stack put some pure incense as a memorial portion to be present the bread and to be a food offering presented to the Lord. This bread is to be set out before the Lord regularly, the Sabbath after Sabbath, on behalf of the Israelites as a lasting covenant. It belongs to Aaron and his sons, who are to eat it in the sanctuary area, because it is a most holy part of their perpetual share of the food offerings presented to the Lord. The blasphemer put to death. Now the son of an Israelite mother and an Egyptian father went out among the Israelites, and a fight broke out in the camp between him and an Israelite. The son of an Israelite woman blasphemed the name with a curse. So they brought him to Moses. His mother's name was Shelomith, the daughter of Dibri and Dinite. They put him in custody until the will of the Lord shall be made clear to them. The Lord said to Moses, "Take the blasphemer outside the camp. All those who heard him are to lay their hands on his head, and the entire assembly is to stone him. Say to the Israelites, anyone who curses their God will be held responsible. Anyone who blasphemes the name of the Lord is to be put to death. The entire assembly must stone him, whether the foreigner native born. When they blaspheme the name, they are to be put to death. Anyone who takes the life of a human being is to be put to death. Anyone who takes the life of someone's animal must make restitution, life after life. Anyone who injures their neighbor is to be injured in the same manner. Fracture for fracture, eye for eye, tooth for tooth. The one who has inflicted the injury must suffer the same injury. Whoever kills an animal must make restitution, but whoever kills a human being is to be put to death. You are to have the same law for the foreigner and the native born. I am the Lord your God." Then Moses spoke to the Israelites, and they took blasphemer outside the camp and stoned him. The Israelites did as the Lord commanded Moses. The Sabbath year. The Lord said to Moses at Mount Sinai, "Speak to the Israelites and say to them, when you enter the land I am going to give you, the land itself must observe a Sabbath to the Lord. For 6 years sow your fields, and for 6 years prune your vineyards and gather the crops. But in the 7th year the land is to have a year of Sabbath rest, a Sabbath to the Lord. Do not sow your fields or prune your vineyards. Do not reap what grows on of itself, or harvest the grapes of your unintended vines. The land is to have a year of rest. Whatever the land yields during the Sabbath year will be food for you, for yourself, your male and your female servants, and the hired workers to temporarily reside and temporary resident who live among you, as well as for your livestock and the wild animals in your land. Whatever the land produces may be eaten. The year of Jubilee. Count off 7 Sabbath years, 7 times 7 years, so that the 7 Sabbath years among to a period of 49 years, then to have a trumpet sounded everywhere on the 10th day of the 7th month. The day of atonement, sound the trumpet throughout your land, consecrate the 15th year, and proclaim liberty through the land to all its inhabitants. It shall be a jubilee for you. Each of you is to return your family, property, and your own clan. The 15th year shall be a jubilee for you. Do not sow and do not reap what grows itself, or harvest the unintended vines, for it is a jubilee and is to be holy for you. Eat only what is taken directly from the fields. In this year of Jubilee, everyone is to return to their own property. If you sell the land to any of your own people or buy land from them, do not take advantage of each other. You are to buy from your own people on the basis of the number of the years since the Jubilee, and they are to sell you on the basis of the number of years left for harvesting crops. When the years are many, you are to increase the price, and when the years are few, you are to decrease the price. Because what is really being sold to you is the number of crops. Do not take advantage of each other, but fear your God. I am the Lord your God. Follow my decrees and be careful to obey my laws, and you will live safely in the land. Then the land will yield its fruits, and you will eat your fill and live there in safety. You may ask, what will we eat in the 7th year if we do not plant our harvest or harvest our crops? I will send you each a blessing in the 7th year, that the land will yield enough for 3 years. While you plant during the 8th year, you will eat from the old crop. It will continue to eat it until the harvest of the 9th year comes in. The land must not be sold permanently, because the land is mine, and you reside in my land as foreigners and strangers. Throughout the land that you hold as a possession, you must provide the redemption of the land. If one of your fellow Israelites becomes poor and sells some of their property, their nearest relative is to come and redeem what they have sold. If, however, there is no one to redeem it for them, but later on they prosper and acquire sufficient means to redeem it themselves, they are to determine the value of the years since they sold it and refund the balance to the one to whom they sold it. And they can go back to their own property, but if they do not acquire the means to repay, what is sold will remain in the possession of the buyer until the year of the Jubilee. It will be returned in the Jubilee, and they can then go back to their own property. Anyone who sells a house in a walled city retains the right of redemption a full year after its sale. During that time, the seller may redeem it. If it is not redeemed before a year has passed, the house will be walled. The house in the walled city shall belong permanently to the buyer and the buyer's descendants. It is not to be returned in the Jubilee, but the houses and villages without walls around them are to be considered as belonging to the open country. They can be redeemed, and they are to be returned in the Jubilee. The Levites always have the right to redeem their houses and the Levitical towns which they possess. The property of the Levites is redeemable, and that is a house sold and a town they hold. It is to be returned in the Jubilee, because the houses and the towns of the Levites are their property among the Israelites, but the pasture land belonging to their towns must not be sold. It is their permanent possession. If any of your fellow Israelites become poor and are unable to support themselves among you, help them as you would a foreigner and stranger, so they can continue to live among you. Do not take interest or any profit from them, but fear your God, so that they may continue to live among you. You must not lend them money at interest or sell them food at a profit. I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of Egypt to give you land of Canaan and to be your God. If any of your fellow Israelites become poor and sell themselves among you, do not make them work as slaves. They are to be treated as hired workers or temporary residents among you. They are to work for you until the year of Jubilee. Then they and their children are to be released, and they will go back to their own clans and to the property of their ancestors, because the Israelites are my servants, whom I brought out of Egypt. They must not be sold as slaves. Do not rule over them ruthlessly, but fear your God. Your male and female slaves are to come from the nations around you. From them you may buy slaves. You may also buy some of the temporary residents living among you and members of their clans born in your country, and they will become your property. You can bequeath them to your children as inherited property and make them slaves for life, but must not rule over your fellow Israelites ruthlessly. If a foreigner residing among you becomes rich, any of your fellow Israelites become poor and sell themselves to a foreigner or to a member of the foreigner's clan, they retain the right of redemption after they sold themselves. One of their relatives may redeem them. An uncle or a cousin or any blood relative in their clan may redeem them. Or if they prosper, they may redeem themselves. They and their buyer are to count the time of the year they are sold themselves up to the year of Jubilee. The price of their release is to be based on the rate paid to be a hired worker for that number of years. If many years remain, they must pay for their redemption a larger share of the price paid for them. If only a few years remain until the year of Jubilee, they are to compute that and pay for their redemption accordingly. They are to be treated as workers hired from year to year. You must see to it that those whom they owe service do not rule over them ruthlessly. Even if someone is not redeemed in any of these ways, they and their children are to be released in the year of Jubilee. For the Israelites belong to me as servants. They are my servants, whom I brought you out of Egypt. I am the Lord your God. Reward for obedience. Do not make idols or set up an image or a sacred stone for yourselves, and do not place a carved stone in your land to bow down before it. I am the Lord your God. Observe my Sabbaths and have reverence for my sanctuary. I am the Lord. If you follow my decrees and are careful to obey my commands, I will set you rain in the seasons, and the ground will yield its crops, and the trees their fruit. Your threshing will continue until grape harvest, and the grape harvest will continue until planting, and you will eat all of the food you want and live in safety in your land. I will grant peace in the land, and you will lie down, and no one will make you afraid. I will remove the wild beasts from the land, and the sword will not pass through your country. You will pursue your enemies, and will fall by the sword before you. 5 of you will chase 100, and 100 of you will chase 10,000, and your enemies will fall by the sword before you. I will look on you with favor and make you fruitful and increase your numbers, and I will keep my covenant with you. You will be eating the last year's harvest when you will have to move it to make room for the new. I will put my dwelling place among you, and I will not abhor you. I will walk among you and be your God, and you will be my people. I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of Egypt, so that you will no longer be slaves to the Egyptians. I broke the bars of your yoke and enabled you to walk heads held high. Punishment for disobedience. But you will not listen to me and carry out these commands. Punishments for disobedience. I'm going to get into that tomorrow. I'm out of time. I will see y'all in the next video.